Greetings, everyone. This is Beth Melcher again with another installment of Out of the Shoebox. It's tax season, and I'm working with a lot of folks who have a lot of paper, and they're trying to figure out a quick and easy way to get the information that's on their documents up into a format that's usable by QuickBooks Online. I'm going to do a quick overview here of one of my favorite apps. It's called Receipt Bank, and hang tight. Here we go. And before we get too far into the software, I just want to say that this matters. Having the paper documents underneath your transactions in QuickBooks is really important because the IRS wants to see your documents. So downloading the bank feeds directly from the bank into QuickBooks and creating a transaction is not enough. You've got to have the docs. So this is why we're bothering, okay? Okay, one of the three ways to get your documents up into Receipt Bank is to upload the file. You can either click here and then point to a folder, or you can drag and drop. I happen to enjoy dragging and dropping, so that's what we're gonna do. I put the document right here, let go. We get this indication that the item has been successfully uploaded, and there you go. The second way to get your images of your receipts and vendor bills up into Receipt Bank is by email. There are often times when a vendor is going to email you a bill, and all you're going to have to do is forward it to a unique email address that you create when you're setting up your Receipt Bank account. Best practice is to set up a contact called Receipt Bank in your email contacts, and then all you're doing it really is forwarding it to yourself. I'm just showing you the screen, but I'm sure you know how to send an email address. We'll skip demoing that one. The third way to get your images of your documents into Receipt Bank is through your mobile app. This is an image of what Receipt Bank looks like in an iPhone. There is a camera option inside of the application. You click on the camera, point the camera at the receipt, click go, and it automatically goes up into the Receipt Bank application. Okay, so now you've got your documents in. You've taken pictures of your receipts, or you've emailed your vendor bills into Receipt Bank, and what's the next step? Well, you wait and you let the computer do the work, because that's the whole point anyway, right? I have selected the inbox. You remember before we were adding items in this tab over here. The inbox shows the items that we have updated or uploaded, either through the email or the picture or the drag and drop, and they will sit in process while the computer, it's called an OCR, an optical content reader. Don't test me on that, but it's looking for, it's really scanning your bill, looking for vendor name, looking for date, and looking for the amount. It's going to automatically enter that data in a screen I'll show you in just a second. After the transaction has processed in Receipt Bank, it is ready to get published into QuickBooks Online. So this is the screen. We are in the inbox, and this is a transaction, the receipt that I uploaded from my favorite coffee shop downstairs. The data that is pulled by Receipt Bank includes the supplier name, supplier and vendor in this case are the same thing. The date of the transaction, you'll see, is automatically pulled, as is the amount of the transaction, $10.20. We can set supplier rules, so over time, this will build up and make the transactions entries very quick. The categories are pulled directly from QuickBooks Online, and every time a transaction comes in from this vendor, it will automatically post to that account. I'm going to show you the manual way of doing it this time. So the category, which is the expense type in this case, we will go down and pick something. Although this particular QuickBooks isn't used to having coffee in it, so just for our purposes, even though I'm not recommending you put it in office supplies, I'm just going to do that just for now. This payment was already made, and I'm going to click Publish and publish it over to the QuickBooks Online software. Here we go. Okay, so after you hit publish, where does it go? Well, here we are in QBO, QuickBooks Online. You'll see the check number is, I could have overridden it, but if you don't put a check number in, here's what the data comes in, RB for Receipt Bank, and then a transaction code is entered. Office supplies is the category that I selected. The amount comes in. as the amount, of course, that we had on the other side in Receipt Bank. And the awesome thing right here, check it out. When I click on that right there, we have an attached image of the transaction attached to the QuickBooks transaction. So we've got paper data support, which is no longer paper, it's an image, and we've gone all the way from a piece of paper in a shoebox all the way to a fully categorized and supported transaction in QuickBooks Online. Thanks so much for listening. This is Beth Melcher with MoneyFit, and happy bookkeeping. Bye.